and going in on the Chicago Sky.
The Indiana Fever faced off against the Chicago Sky in a blowout victory.
They're not going to be pushed around anymore. Even in the midst of all the talk yesterday, you know, you have a Sophie Cunningham, you have a Natasha Howard, and you have a DeWanna Bonner. There's a level of credibility. There's a level of toughness.
Caitlin Clark knew exactly how Angel Reese was going to react to this.
Caitlin Clark, in the post-game interview, she made it a point to say, this is not like, please don't blow this out of proportion.
Just moments ago, the basketball world watched in disbelief. What started as a routine WNBA matchup turned into an all-out statement. Raw, ruthless, and unforgettable.
She got a big ovation, a lot of support from everyone in Gainesbridge, and she's so deserving of it.
She has tied Tina Thompson for third on the all-time scoring list.
That was the entire game. They were feeling us every cut. We were talking, we were communicating, we were flying around, deflections. One more thing. KK, first WNBA!
In just under 2 minutes, DeWanna Bonner didn't just play the game, she owned it. Angel Reese, caught in the crosshairs. Caitlin Clark, eyes wide, watching it all unfold like the rest of us.
Caitlin Clark knew exactly how Angel Reese was going to react to this. She knew Angel Reese would lose her temper. She knew she would try to cause a scene. Caitlin Clark, she walked away from Angel Reese like she didn't matter.
One veteran made history, one rookie got humbled, and one superstar chose silence over spectacle. This wasn't just a win, it was a warning. And if you missed what went down in that Fever blowout over the Sky, buckle up.
She currently funked herself with Charlotte Webb after she shared a post last night of pretty much somebody congratulating her and going in on the Chicago Sky.
The arena was shaking before the first whistle. The Indiana Fever stepped onto the court like a storm waiting to detonate, fueled, focused, and ready to make a statement. From the very first possession, it was clear this wasn't going to be a game. It was going to be a message. And the Chicago Sky, they were about to get hit with every ounce of it.
DeWanna Bonner, man, Indiana Fever on, became the third all-time WNBA leading scorer in history.
Caitlin Clark looks like she's going to be the MVP of the league. Angel Reese made a fool out of herself, and we won by 100, and I won. So we're back in the good mode, back in the winning. Yesterday was tough with the Celtics, but we're back, baby, and it all starts with who? CC, 22, Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark didn't need to say a word. Her presence commanded attention. Her court vision was surgical. Sharp passes slicing through defenders, quick threes that felt inevitable the moment they left her hands. She set the tone from the jump.
She immediately loses her temper. She could not believe Caitlin Clark stole her moment. Angel Reese gets off the ground very slowly because everyone seems to be moving in slow motion in the WNBA.
The Angel Reese fan base is full of toxicity right now because they is extremely embarrassed that Angel Reese came to Indiana and laid a goose egg. Now, granted, she did get a double-double.
The Fever weren't just executing plays. They were putting on a clinic, and Clark was the one pulling the strings. But it wasn't just about buckets. It was the attitude. Every possession was loud, not with trash talk, but with domination. The defense? Relentless. Angel Reese barely had room to breathe.
You know, DB is somebody that, you know, is a Hall of Famer, like a legend, not only a good basketball player, a great person, a great leader. You know, the strongest voice in our locker room is hers. And it's fun to have been around here now for about a month just to get to learn from her and soak it in. And I'm really happy she got to do it at the free throw line and all the fans could go crazy and cheer for her because she certainly deserved that moment. And it was really awesome to see and be a part of.
Keaton gets the triple-double in the midst of it with people crashing out and crying about stat padding, by the way. And yeah, were they trying to get her a triple-double a little bit? But here's the thing. People always try to draw these equivalencies because they hear a criticism one way.
The Fever collapsed on her every time she touched the ball, swarming like they knew exactly where she was going before she did. And behind it all was DeWanna Bonner, calm, calculating, and cold as ice. The intensity hit its peak when Bonner caught Reese off guard with a stare that said everything without saying a word. No smirk, no trash talk, just control.
So this is the post. I'm gonna have to put allegedly on there because DeWanna Bonner deleted it. But allegedly, this is the post DeWanna Bonner put on X. And it stated, congrats to DeWanna Bonner. Chicago needs to get it together. People's kind of pointing fingers at DeWanna Bonner like, you know what? You shouldn't have shared that. She shouldn't have. She can share what she wanted to share. Now, I believe she later deleted this post. But, man, watch this, bro. Watch this. Let's head on over to X, dog.
And Caitlin Clark, she saw it all happening. Not shocked by the result, but by how fast Reese was unraveling. Clark walked away from every exchange like she had nothing left to prove. No emotion, no reaction, just business.
The Indiana Fever just played their first game against the Chicago Sky, and folks, it was not close. It was not close. I remember my timeline being flooded with people saying it was going to be a good dogfight. It was going to be a close game. It was going to come down to the wire. It was going to be a great one. No, it wasn't. It was a 40-point blowout. And it was a great game on one side. On the other side, it was a little questionable. But we got to see Caitlin Clark in full force. We got to see the new and improved Caitlin Clark. I can't wait to break down the film in this video for you guys, man. She looked amazing. She had a triple-double, a 20-point triple-double. She shot it nearly 50% from the field. She shot it 50% from the three, y'all. She had 4 blocks. The defense was there. The playmaking was there. The rebounding was there. Everything was there. She looked like the best player in the WNBA.
As the scoreboard tilted further toward Indiana, fans knew they weren't just watching a win, they were watching a shift. The old guard wasn't fading, it was rising again. And Caitlin Clark, standing right in the middle of it, watched as DeWanna Bonner lit the spark that turned a simple game into a seismic moment.
Angel Reese did come away with a double-double. She got 12 points and 17 rebounds. Camila Cardoso didn't really show up, but I was very, very excited about how Aaliyah Boston was facing up against her because Camila Cardoso is so big, and that is one thing that I've been kind of wondering how Aaliyah Boston is going to fare with all these way bigger bigs in the league.
It all changed when DeWanna Bonner stopped playing the game and started owning the moment. What looked like a routine possession turned into a turning point. Late in the second half, Bonner pulled up for a contested jumper. Angel Reese in her face, arms up, pressure high. The shot, pure. The reaction, ice cold.
They make it a hate thing. They make it a hate train. It's like, no. I'm telling you, if I was the coach or the owner, we forfeit in every game. Either we forfeit or Angel will not be in attendance.
Angel Reese fans is calling race. They're sparking a race war on Twitter right now, and it's starting to get national attention. They're attacking white fans, black fans.
Bonner didn't flinch. She didn't celebrate. She turned, locked eyes with Reese, and delivered the kind of stare that doesn't just challenge, it dominates. The message was clear. This is my house. Angel Reese, known for her fire and flair, had finally met someone who didn't need to talk back to win the war.
Much like Donnie Carr, Angel Reese relies on the dramatics to generate attention. Because just like Donnie, she can't maintain attention based on skill. And the attention-seeking behavior, it started immediately yesterday as Angel Reese and the Chicago Bravado decided that they were going to disrespect the country by refusing to come out for the national anthem.
Bonner's game did all the talking. Every screen she set, every steal she snatched, every bucket she dropped, it all came wrapped in intention. She wasn't just outplaying Reese, she was exposing her. The tension ignited like fuel on open flame. Reese, visibly frustrated, started to unravel. Her movements lost rhythm. Her swagger, gone.
And DeWanna Bonner represents the old guard, if you will. Not that she's acted like the old guard or in any of the stereotypical ways that the old guard has been portrayed, but just because she is and has been a fixture of the WNBA to the point where she became the 3rd all-time leading scorer, obviously, in that game. And Bonner chose to go to the Fever, which surprised some folks, but shows you more so that it was a basketball-related decision. She knows it's a chance to win another championship. She knows it's a chance to, be a part of a great collective and group, a moment in time, a moment of support. And she expressed how much she was grateful.
She tried to answer back, crashing the boards, diving for loose balls, but it was too late. Bonner was a step ahead. Every time Reese looked for a moment, Bonner took it from her. Then came the blowtorch. After the game, Bonner reposted a congratulatory message that didn't just celebrate her victory.
Angel Reese came to Indiana and laid a goose egg. Now, granted, she did get a double-double.
It lit a fire under the entire WNBA, a post laced with subtle venom, shade thrown with precision, the kind that doesn't name names but leaves no question who it's about. The internet exploded. Fans dissected it frame by frame, word by word, emoji by emoji. The roast was complete. Bonner didn't need a microphone. She used the scoreboard, the spotlight, and one brutal post to bury the narrative.
We have to give DeWanna Bonner her flowers because in this game, she moved into third in the league's highest scorer in her first game with the Indiana Fever.
And as Angel Reese fumed and the sky scrambled, Caitlin Clark stood on the edge of it all. Not part of the chaos, but the quiet witness. A triple-double in her pocket, a blowout win under her belt, and her eyes fixed on a veteran who had just shown the league what true dominance looks like.
These people don't like anybody associated with Clark. Just ignore them. Now, the people that they refer to is none other than the Angel Reese fan base, man. The Angel Reese fan base is full of toxicity right now because they is extremely embarrassed that Angel Reese came to Indiana and laid a goose egg. Now, granted, she did get a double-double, but a goose egg is a goose egg. And I'm telling you right now, she laid the biggest goose egg on national television.
Bonner didn't shout. She didn't gloat. She just burned the house down and left without a single piece of ash on her. The final whistle hadn't even faded before the storm hit social media like a wrecking ball. Within minutes, DeWanna Bonner's cryptic post, a simple congratulation drenched in shade, spread like wildfire. It wasn't just a celebration of her historic milestone. It was a surgical strike aimed straight at Angel Reese in the Chicago sky. Fans knew it. Players knew it. The media devoured it.
Angel Reese gets the ball in the post and she has a wide open lane for an easy layup. For reasons unknown, Caitlin Clark decides to foul. It was a rare lapse in judgment from Caitlin Clark. All she had to do was let Angel Reese attempt the wide open layup. The ball would bounce off the bottom of the backboard or end up in some poor kid's lap in the front row. Either way, the Indiana Felines would have possession. But instead, Caitlin Clark decides to foul Angel Reese. Maybe she was just looking out for her. Maybe she was trying to prevent Angel Reese from humiliating herself again on national television.
Suddenly, the story wasn't the Fever's win. It was Bonner's silence turned shout and the backlash that followed. Angel Reese found herself at the center of a spotlight she couldn't control. The confident walk into the arena, the signature swagger, the defiant attitude, all of it now looked like a mask cracking under the weight of defeat. On X, in comment sections, across highlight reels, the narrative flipped.
That was what elicited the stat padding allegations, right? Not if she was in the game late and happened to get a rebound or a point. And same, with Clark, was it stat padding because they're trying to get her a rebound? Sure, I guess. But it's not the egregious level of stat padding. There's a different set of circumstances. Clark wasn't, missing her shot on purpose to try to get a rebound when the Fever had the ball and could have ran the clock out. They're different set of circumstances. Regardless, they both get those moments in the same game. And there was a little bit of a moment, when I asked Caitlin Clark about the additions to the team.
This wasn't about basketball anymore. It was about pride, perception, and the brutal sting of being outclassed on the national stage. And in the middle of this eruption stood Caitlin Clark, untouched by the chaos. She didn't need to insert herself. She didn't need to clap back. Her triple-double had already spoken volumes. As fans argued over stat padding and fouls, Clark stayed locked in.
Caitlin Clark recorded the first triple-double in a season opener in WNBA history.
Caitlin Clark, a triple-double, 20 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds. Angel Reese, 17 boards, 12 points in a losing effort. Gets a double-double, they're gonna lose the game. She shot 35% from the field.
Caitlin Clark now has the third most triple-doubles in WNBA history because she is that damn good.
Her eyes fixed on the bigger picture. Her dominance was quiet, her execution flawless, and her awareness surgical. She saw the pressure building on Reese's shoulders and never once let up. Then came the moment, the one that froze the timeline. Reese had an open lane, an easy layup, a chance to reclaim even a sliver of dignity. And then, Clark fouled her. No one expected it. Maybe it was instinct. Maybe it was mercy. Maybe, just maybe, it was Clark making sure Reese didn't embarrass herself again in front of a roaring Indiana crowd. Because if that ball clanged off the rim like so many others that night, it would have been another meme, another moment she couldn't take back.
Caitlin Clark is phenomenal. She is somebody like we have never seen before.
You guys are lucky you have Caitlin Clark. You are lucky you have the Indiana Fever.
Meanwhile, the Angel Reese fan base imploded online, fighting with Clark fans, launching accusations, dragging race into the mix, desperate to spin the narrative. But no matter how loud they got, the scoreboard stayed the same. The win was real. The roast was historic. The dominance was undeniable. This wasn't just a game that got physical, it was personal. And when the dust settled, Bonner stood with her name etched into WNBA history.
We have to give DeWanna Bonner her flowers because in this game, she moved into third in the league's highest scorer in her first game with the Indiana Fever.
Angel Reese came to Indiana and laid a goose egg. Now, granted, she did get a double-double.
Kelsey Mitchell's her ability to score, and Aaliyah Boston looked really good as the game went along. And Lexi Hull brings the energy, and that's the core. But with those additions...
But a goose egg is a goose egg.
Clark stood with her first triple-double, and Reese, she stood alone, not defeated, but exposed. In one night, roles were reversed, narratives shattered, and the league was put on notice. The old guard isn't done. The new queen hasn't blinked, and Angel Reese just got a front row seat to both. When the lights dimmed and the crowd cleared, one truth echoed louder than the final buzzer.
You know, for whatever reason, they decide to get themselves involved, whether it is actually malintent or maybe they just want to get themselves in the headline. A lot of players got the spotlight this season because of Caitlin Clark, not to mention just overall Caitlin Clark brought millions, literally, more eyeballs to the league this season.
Pretty exciting. One of the big reasons fans flock to State Farm Arena is, of course, the Caitlin Clark effect.
The best player in America, the best shooter in America.
Watch her play. She plays at a high level.
She's going to break records nonstop for the next couple years.
She's the only one capable of taking nothing and making it something. The WNBA was nothing before Caitlin Clark.
This wasn't just a win for the Indiana Fever. This was a reckoning. DeWanna Bonner didn't just make history. She made a statement. A silent, savage takedown that left no room for doubt. Caitlin Clark, calm and lethal, didn't need drama to dominate. Her performance was a masterclass in control. And Angel Reese, she walked away with more than a loss. She walked away with a lesson, not just in basketball, but in presence, in poise, and in pressure. This rivalry, it's no longer hype, it's war. And after tonight, no one's asking if the Fever are for real. They're here, they're loud, and they just shook the league to its core.
This team is going to break so many records this year. Attendance, viewership, merch sales, all of the things.
This was a preseason WNBA game. It is unbelievable what it is Caitlin Clark does.
Whenever Caitlin Clark takes the floor, that maybe is different not only from any player in the WNBA, but from any player in basketball.